meantime, let's bring in Richard Ferrer, editor of Jewish News, who's in our central London studios. This just doesn't go away, does it? I mean, do you think the Labour Party are getting a handle on this now?
No, absolutely not. And Ken Livingstone finally puts a sock in it, and then Diane Abbott comes out with more willfully obtuse nonsense. There is a virulent strain of anti-Semitism running through the Labour Party, and the mood is set from the top. Unfortunately, the leader of the Labour Party is somebody who currently calls psychopathic Jew killers Hamas his friends. He attends fundraising meetings for these people, and he's the only one that can change the narrative. If he is going to start to talk in more temperate ways, more balance, and maybe bring in the pro-Palestinian lobby a bit more to the centre ground, then finally we might have some hope here. But he's not going to be able to do that. He's got no will to do that, so it's never going to happen. This problem's never ever going to go away in the Labour Party until there's a change of leadership.
Well, just let's try and pin that down a bit. You say there's a virulent strain of anti-Semitism in the Labour Party. Diane Abbott saying that expressions like that are a smear on a lot of ordinary Labour Party members who would never dream of making the kind of comments that we've heard from certain members of the party. It's not a widespread issue.
Okay, there are people that are up for election on Thursday at different elections, and they are actually knocking on doors assuring voters they are not anti-Semitic. That's where we've got to currently in the Labour Party. We have got to a point where Jeremy Corbyn is so one-eyed about Israel, so unable to even utter the word Israel when he attended a fringe Labour Friends of Israel meeting at last year's conference, that he is unable to actually bring the party together. Unfortunately, it's going to take a leadership election to get this thing sorted.
Well, you say he's unable. Some people would say that this is because there are people, this is what Ken Livingstone would say, who are taking the opportunity to milk this and say, let's bash Jeremy Corbyn on the head and lay all of this at his door.
No, look, we are engaged currently in a nationwide debate about anti-Semitism, and that is pretty surreal for me as a British Jew and for the British Jewish community, for us to suddenly, for the last 5 days, just be leading every single news bulletin and on the front of every newspaper. It's absolutely bizarre. We are trying to define what is anti-Semitism, whether criticism of Israel is anti-Semitism, whether you can talk about Hitler in defence of anti-Semitism. These are the issues that we're conjuring, and Jeremy Corbyn is the conduit. Jeremy Corbyn is the reason we are having these debates.
So do you then believe that even with the promise of an inquiry and a proper investigation into all of this, it can't be tackled? What do you see being the solution, other than, as in your words, getting rid of Jeremy Corbyn?
Oh no, this code of conduct and investigation is a complete nonsense. It's never going to change anything. You can't have Shami Chakrabarti telling Labour Party members how to act and talk morally. They're not going to be able to be... The code of conduct isn't going to be able to impart that sort of information. It can only come from having an honest debate about Jewish people in this country and the Labour Party, the far left attitude of the Labour Party towards Israel, and actually identifying what is anti-Semitism. When you're talking about Israel, you can absolutely criticise a vibrant democracy's parliament, prime minister, policies, but when you start talking about its people and its place in the world, then I would wager that is anti-Semitism, and that is the language that a lot of councillors and now MPs are starting to talk. That's the language of the Labour Party at the moment.
OK, Richard Ferrer, editor of Jewish News, thanks very much for your time here on BBC News.